Thomas here with Much Props. Going to give you another how-to video today. If it's not obvious from things in the background, me dressed as a vault dweller and me posting on social media this morning, I am going to build something from Fallout today. If you haven't watched my channel before, you probably could figure it out pretty easily. I'm kind of obsessed with Fallout. I have made a lot of Fallout props in the past. That being said, with spring break currently in effect for me as a teacher, I've had some free time to kind of play a little bit of video games, which I don't typically get to do. And of course, that's kind of my go-to game is Fallout 4. So I was going through the game trying to figure out what I could build. I think I'm going to do something a bit ambitious. I'm going to attempt to make a full cosplay from Fallout 4. I do have a couple of props that I've already made that would obviously go great with a costume for cosplaying, but I've never actually tackled a full cosplay for a game in particular. I did do a Plague Doctor costume cosplay.
Hi, how are you?
That was all kind of original design stuff. Now I'm going to try and incorporate something that's actually in-game, make templates for you guys, so if you're interested in building it, you can build along with me. Keep in mind, I'm 6'3", 240 pounds, so I'm a little bit bigger than a lot of people, so you may have to rescale it just a little bit to fit you. Today we are going to build what my character is currently wearing in the game, sturdy armor from Fallout 4. Rust and all. Let's get to building. So my current in-game character is wearing the armor that I want to build a full cosplay on. I took a few screenshots with my phone and started freehanding a template for the chest piece. I thought I would knock out the hardest part first. The front has 4 main parts stacked on top of each other. The thickness for each part is labeled on the template. The dotted red lines that you see on the template for this build are overlays. These lines need to be traced onto the piece so that you can help line them up and so that you know where to glue stuff. I start with the breastplate bottom and glue the top 2 halves together, then glue the middle breastplate layer together and glue them on top of the bottom. You may have noticed my parts are not the same here. The left side has a little bit trimmed off of it because from what I can see from my reference images, the top plate isn't symmetrical. I just glued the ab plate straight to the chest piece. You could make your midsection a little flexible by attaching them with elastic instead. I thought since the pieces sit a good distance above my waist, the flexibility wasn't going to be an issue. The back plate's a little more simple at the top. It's just one single layer with a little bit of trim stuff added on top of it. After it was assembled, I heat formed it a little bit to change the shape so it would fit my back a little better. My favorite part of this whole build was the tire. It turned out really good in my opinion. If it's a little too big, you can trim off pieces of it when you go to assemble. I did not include the middle strip of tire or the tread because they're just rectangles. The middle strip I made was 5 inches wide and 24 inches long. The tread was 3/4 of an inch wide and 24 inches long. I cut 5 of them. When you glue the tire onto the back, you have to cut a little notch so that it fits over the ridge there. Other than that, it lays however you want to position it. The front neck guard sits on top of the bottom chest piece. There's a small ledge for it. The back neck guard just sits on the edge of the rim on the back. To simulate jagged, rusted up metal, I just took a box cutter and slowly went around the edges of each piece, cutting at various angles and jaggedness. I also took a stone bit on my Dremel and added some cracks and gouges here and there. To pull the armor in snug to the body, I made some front and back straps. They will overlap each other and secure with Velcro.
Not quite sure why, but there's cords that run through the front, and they also run to secure the tire onto the back. I just cut some strips of 4mm EVA and burned holes for them to be glued into. I made the rivets on mine by pulling a sanding drum partially off of the rotary tool and plunging it into the foam. Then I went back in with a wood burner and made the center circle. Now, in-game, the sides get covered usually by the character's arms, so I made an executive decision to kind of freestyle what they looked like and decided on adding some straps with some buckles. The straps have stitch holes burnt into them, and the buckle is simply a rectangle with a part of the strap sticking out of it. Don't forget the belt holes and metal prong used to secure it. So I didn't have to sand off paint later. I put tape where I intended the Velcro to go and then sprayed 2 coats of Plasti-Dip over everything. Lightly dust the metal parts with a mix of silver, brown, and black spray paint for an aged metal base. Now the super fun part of all the other colors. I am using Platifex paint for the belt straps, cords, rivets, and buckles, painstakingly hand painting them on. To dirty it all up a little bit more, I used a mix of brown and black Platifex acrylic paint with just a little bit of water. Really push it into all the cracks to pick up on all the detail work. Now to add the Velcro to my side straps. I know that the back has an adhesive, but I don't ever feel like it sticks well enough to EVA foam, so I give it a little bit of help by adding some super glue to the back of it. For the rust, I chose to use the Modern Masters Metal Rust Effects. It's not exactly cheap, at about $25 for this box. I use it because I love the variations I get from the 3-step paint treatment, and it's pretty easy to apply. Literally just a primer layer, then an iron layer, and the last step is a spray-on solution that starts the rusting process for you.
And we are finished. Here is the end result, and I am kind of obsessed with it at the moment. I really like how the tire turned out, and because Plastidip already kind of has that rubbery texture, I just left that as Plastidip. I didn't paint over it. It gives a good tactile feel to it. The rust really does sell this prop. It makes it very authentic, and I really love using that Modern Masters rust effect stuff. It's a 3-step process, and it is easy. The variations that you get for your rust are pretty awesome. So definitely try and make one of these yourselves, and if you do, please make sure that you realize that it's just foam armor and not real armor, and won't protect you in any way possible, but could possibly intimidate somebody if you go outside of your house with it. Yeah, I wasn't planning on it. Maybe you'll get some.
Yay!
And inevitably, they're going to ask you, how'd you make that? Give them one of these. Tell them, much props. Velcro makes it easy. And I think it looks pretty cool. Peace!